The expenses of the port we've gotten expenses under tighter controls. I think that the Board of Directors have done an excellent job in bringing in some control measures, and that Captain Soppet and the staff during those periods put in measures to make sure that the expenses that we incur are those expenses that are required and necessary to allow the port to be ready and well positioned for business. Our income from operations, you can see that last year we had an excellent year, $3 million of income. I want to point out that that's an important number because that's the number of that we accrue money that allows us to start looking to reinvest in our infrastructure. As you know, the port infrastructure, this is an older port and it requires attention, and we're going to continue to be emphasizing the renewal of our assets. And I think I will be mentioning that a little bit further as we go on. You will know that this year we had a tremendous announcement about our cruise expansion, the renewal of our facilities for cruise. But we have to look at the broader asset of our diversified port. The strength of this port is its diversification. We have tremendous sectors that provide input and to our community and to our business. And we need to start paying attention and coming up with the strategies that will renew other parts of our assets. So it's about the renewal, not only of how we work together, but also of the asset itself. Certainly, our cruise season starts off this year on June the 7th with the Carnival Glory arriving. We're excited about this cruise season. We expect that our cruise season will be as successful as last year. We'll be in that 200,000 passenger zone. We'll have 70-plus cruise ships coming into the port.
Overall, a pretty successful year for the port. Where do we go from here?
Well, it's just to continue to build on the things that we've set in place. We're very busy with the project to do our berth extension, actually get that construction ready for the next cruise marine season. We're continuing to talk to prospective customers for the port. We've got a couple things in the works that we're somewhat optimistic about. So it's just building on the base that we have, and we're anticipating that 2011 is going to be a very good year for us.
Now, you mentioned the expansion of the cruise terminal. You also have some property on the west side as well that's probably in need of some major upgrades. Where do we stand?
Well, we've set out actually what we call an asset management plan, which is to set in place a plan for infrastructure upgrades. Our next project that we're hopefully going to be able to co-op with the feds and the provincial government is on rail upgrades on the west side. That's a critical part of our infrastructure there. We're also in discussions with the Department of Fisheries, working with the local fishers to establish a small craft harbor at the lower west side, and that will in turn allow us to do some additional upgrades behind that small craft harbor, which will give us more laydown area and more actually pier space. So those are very much on the focus. As I mentioned in my remarks, we've set up this infrastructure fund specifically for that. So that's kind of our next step.
Any look ahead to perhaps a second cruise terminal?
Well, we are actually building up, I hesitate to call it a backup terminal, but part of this berth extension is going to include taking down the old shed in Pugsley, which is really not suitable for today's kind of marine traffic. We're going to put a new facility up there, which will be useful for cruise and for other kinds of events. So yes, but it's part of that project to extend the pier and allow us a greater facility to handle two 300-meter ships in the Pugsley terminal.
What about the future of Long Wharf?
Well, Long Wharf is going to have some upgrades as well. That is very much on our minds. We wanted to get through our land use process, which we've just about completed. In fact, it completes in another day or so, and that involved public hearings and so forth. So we've done that. We've got a plan for the future, and that site has been designated as a strategic site for investment. We're looking at a number of options right now and how we can marry that with marine traffic and the issues of the community.
Now, there was a lot of emphasis this morning on the port and the community. One thing that you've been very successful at since the opening of this cruise terminal is having the community use it on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, and that was the intention, actually. We wanted it to be far more than cruise. We wanted it to be a community center. In many respects, we've had a whole host of fundraising activities, children's activities. We're very proud of the fact that we've got a rate scale that reflects a pretty significant discount for charitable organizations. So we're extremely pleased with how the Marco Polo terminal has worked out. We built it under budget, and it's actually turned into a revenue source for us.